We turn to this matter now. A report by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime has cast a harsh spotlight on Southern Africa, revealing that the region is now a hub for a vast and interconnected web of international criminal networks. The findings position the region not merely as a peripheral player, but as a central hub facilitating global flow of illicit goods, capital and activities. The report documents how crimes from wildlife trafficking and illicit gold mining to drug smuggling, human trafficking and financial fraud have become deeply embedded in several Southern African nations. Let's speak to this now with security strategist and former Interpol ambassador Andy Mashaile. Randy, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on this afternoon. One analysis says that we are, of course, becoming this node or this hub of international criminal syndicates because of our own rising criminality here in the country. For example, if you look at the numbers, South Africa, number 1 in the region and number 3 in the continent in terms of criminality levels, number 7 in the world. So the fact that we have such high levels of criminality in our own country makes us attractive to international syndicates.
Tibos, you're quite correct. One, the leniency that the criminal justice cluster meets out to masterminds and leaders of transnational organized crime syndicates makes it a lucrative area to be in. When you look at the Chinese mafia operating from Asia into East Africa, and also when you look at the Central Americas, I am specifically referring to your Brazils, to your Mexicos of the world, sending their contraband through the Durban port for the distribution of cocaine into East Africa, and from Durban to Australia. You have seen the foreign nationals or the Nigerians, transnational organized crime syndicate, taking root in your sentence of the world, operating fraud scams, the cyber security scams. And you look at West Africa through the West Coast, delivering once again drugs that comes from your Mexicos of the world. So we are at the center of an attack by the transnational organized crime syndicates because of our leniency. 1, because of corruption. Number 2. Number 3, because of the involvement of our own people within the criminal justice cluster. What am I talking about? Because of involvement of some rogue police officers in the serious crime of transnational organized crime, which is rising, particularly in Africa.
Yeah. How do you nip it in the bud? I mean, how have other international countries dealt with it? For example, I'm told Washington, D.C. is on gridlock. It's not easy to get away from there. So we are told Johannesburg, for example, is prime because we have a good transport system coming in and out of the country and so on and so forth. What would need to happen there to put an area like Johannesburg on lockdown so that if you're a criminal, you enter the space, it's not easy for you to come out?
It was the mindset of our brothers and sisters in the brown and blue uniform and many other uniforms, talking about corruption. 1, we need to root out corruption. 2, we need to look at the national leadership that is at war amongst itself and shifting the focus from smashing your crimes, your transnational crime syndicate. But I must indicate that there is a semblance of hope in when you look at the cooperation between 7 countries and at a later stage, 18 countries operating and smashing your crime, your cyber crime syndicate. You remember here, I'm talking about Operation Red Card. That started in June 2025, ran up to August 2025, and a serious number of arrests that have been registered and identification of victims and taking control of your scammers, tools, and equipment. So this is one of those things, Tibos, that we need to look at. Number two, we need to look at the use of technology, artificial intelligence, the use of better training methods, the use of relationships with law enforcement agencies worldwide to train and embed the pride within our law enforcement officers in arresting those who are involved in transnational organized crime.
Yeah. The piecemeal approach, in your experience at Interpol, I mean, would help. I know we are doing fairly well in getting ourselves off the grey listing, for example. We have what is called a border management authority, which is a one-stop shop, a node where everything that has to do with border management is being centralized there. Of course, questions still remain on what needs to happen as far as beefing up the NPA. There's some challenges there about our investigative capacity. So we're having a piecemeal approach in terms of trying to come up with a strategy. Is that helpful?
Definitely not helpful, Tibos. You need to go into the mindset of a fusion center where you have all law enforcement agencies operating in that space, in that room, taking into consideration the foreign national operatives that have been helping us. I'm talking about your Homeland Security, your FBI, and many others, your Secret Service, your many others that have been helping South African policing services to engage in dealing with crime. And Tibos, when you congregate all efforts, you are able to generate much more successes because you would have, amongst others, BMA in that room, stopping illegal crossings, number one. Number two, smashing human trafficking syndicates as well as smuggling syndicates from across the 1,750 land borders that are a problem in terms of weaponized migration by your transnational organized crime to bring kingpins here. We have seen the demise of a Mozambican a few days ago on R21 who was the mastermind in kidnapping for ransom and a huge and a serious master extorter wanted both in South Africa and in Mozambique. So the piecemeal approach is definitely not helping us, let alone the infights within the law enforcement agencies.
Security strategist and former Interpol ambassador Andy Mashaile. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for your intervention this afternoon.